Pilot Boys in the building. Welcome to the Pilot Boys podcast, where you'll get the real on all things sports, music, and pop culture. I am Mecca Don here with my co-host V. Today is March 19th, 2020. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. As you could probably hear, we are quarantined, and we've been affected by the coronavirus pandemic, as have all of you. Please take social distancing seriously. No matter what you think about the severity of the disease, we cannot overburden the healthcare system with cases when they are woefully unprepared. But hopefully we can get back to normal soon. On today's show, we will talk to Randy Wade, the father of standout Ohio State cornerback Shaun Wade, about Shaun's decision to come back to Ohio State, why they made the announcement press conference style, Coach Coombs, and Florida to OSU pipeline. Shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Remember now that our $5 and up Patreon subscribers will get our episodes on Wednesdays, a night early. These donations help keep our show going. If you want to help keep us on air, you can donate at www.patreon.com/Pilot Boys Podcast. Let's go.
Where the Pilot Boys at? Pilot Boys, we get on up. We don't fly, boys, we getting up. So high. Pilot Boys, we get on up. We don't fly, boys, we getting up.
You're listening to the Pilot Boys Podcast. Our next guest is the father of superstar cornerback at The Ohio State University, Shaun Wade. Please welcome to the show, Randy Wade. What's up, Randy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank y'all for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. First of all, thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're Ohio State guys, and, we, both are graduates of Ohio State. I played at Ohio State, so anything Ohio State related, we're pretty much in tune with. And obviously, your son in the off season, his story and him deciding to come back to Ohio State was not just one of the biggest stories locally, but obviously one of the biggest stories nationally. Talk to us a little bit about that process of deciding, you guys collectively as a family deciding whether or not, he's going to come back, and then also talk to us about how you guys decided to announce that to the public.
It was a big decision because you got a lot of stuff going on and you have a very short time to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, and basically you don't have all the information you need. So basically you get all the information you can from Ohio State, then you get all the information you can from different agents and stuff like that. And, you try to make the best decision, for Shaun,
Right.
And, that was the biggest thing. But the thing I want to kind of point out to people, man, is it's a split decision because you got to think after the Clemson game, we had probably less than about a week or a week and a half, something like that, to make that decision.
Right.
And when you really focusing on trying to win a national championship, as we wanted Shaun to do,
Mm-hmm.
we as parents just took the time to get all the information and get Shaun down to Jacksonville to try to give him the information he needed to know from all angles, all sides, and what happened if he left early this year, ups and downs, and the ups and downs of doing it next year.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing.
You brought up a great point in terms of the impact that this type of decision and the timing of this has on a player. They're preparing for a game, and they have to think about, what am I going to do? Can you talk to us a little bit about that process as a parent? It seems like this is one of the most critical points that you have to protect your son from, right? Is the outside noise, the agents trying to tell him whatever he needs to hear because they want him to come out, and keeping him focused on the task at hand while also knowing that this is a decision, the biggest decision of his life potentially coming up. Can you take us into that, like how you do that as a parent in terms of protecting your child and isolating him and letting him focus on what he needs to focus on?
Okay, so the biggest thing for us is Shaun just let me and my wife handle it because he knew that if he didn't let us handle it and get him all the information, that he couldn't focus on just playing football.
Right.
So everybody texted him and called him and stuff like that, and he pretty much gave them our number. I gave him criteria of different things that don't give them our number if they do certain things that would turn off to me. I gave certain criteria for that. So
right.
They did that. He didn't give them my number, but they met those criteria. He gave them my number. we talked to them, and if we felt like they was worth, kind of talking to, we kind of broke it down to probably 4 different agents and stuff like that. And what people got to realize is most schools want you to come back. Most agents want you to leave because agents want you to leave so they can lock you in for one.
Right.
And start the clock for that second contract too.
For that second contract.
Yeah.
So with Shaun, what we really had to find out with him is why do you want to stay? Like, why? After we gave him the information, he said he wanted to stay. And as parents, he was like, why do you want to stay? Mm-hmm. And really, and in his opinion, he just really felt like he didn't leave his mark on college football like he should have. So, meaning in high school, he won 4 state championships in a row. And in Pop Warner, he actually won a national championship. Wow. So he's won a lot of championships in a row. He always been a winner.
Yeah.
And individually, he's always been a winner. So he felt like he had something to prove as far as playing on the outside and showing people that. And also just, a little bit disrespected being Big 10, third team, not being mentioned as one of the top corners of the nation.
Right.
People mention that, but they got him behind other people because one of the main reasons is because he's playing on the inside.
When you talked about some of the information too, I'm not trying to get too deep into your business, but I'm curious to know what information did come back. What did you guys collect in your opinion? Because your opinion is different from what Shaun feels, right?
Yeah.
What were they saying? Yeah.
So the thing is, I'm not going to speak on the what's that thing called that they sent back?
The draft evaluation.
Yeah, the class evaluation.
Yeah.
I got proof to show it's flawed. I can show that. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right.
So, but the information came back that he was a second or third rounder by paper. Mm-hmm. But by word of mouth, the information came back that he was a first or second rounder.
Right.
So it was real confusing.
Yeah.
It was real confusing. So not having anyone to talk to, all thing you can do is get information from different sources.
And like you said, you don't have a lot of time to process that information too. So it's kind of a quick decision you have to make. Talk to us about your decision on how to kind of announce it, right? Because there are obviously multiple ways you could have done it. You guys did a press conference, which obviously got a lot of eyeballs. What made you guys decide to go that route in terms of announcing that he was coming back?
I'm kind of a PR person. I did 20 years in the Navy. I know how to deal people and how to get people's attention. Mm-hmm. So Shaun is a very, 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 very humble kid. Humble, very humble.
Yeah, we met him many, many times. He's a super humble dude.
Yeah. He's really
quiet.
Good stuff. So I'm not like that. You say why?
No, he said quiet.
Oh yeah. Real quiet. But yeah, so I was like, Shaun, let's go ahead and do it in Jacksonville. That way, people won't know you're coming back. Because if you do it in Ohio State, when it's time for everybody to report, they're gonna know you're coming back. Mm-hmm. So let's put everybody think you're leaving because you got a chance to go first or second round. I wanted you to leave at one point.
Mm-hmm,
sure. Let's do it and get ahead and start your season off, with some excitement. Get a Buckeye fan something to kind of hang on to for a second. That's why we kind of chose to do in Jacksonville and have some media down there. Thanks to Letterson's Row for coming down and making a kind of big event for Shaun for this year, because this is it, man. Hopefully, well, God willing, this is it. Hopefully he can do some big things.
Right. One other thing too that we wanted to ask you about was kind of the pressure. You're from Jacksonville. You mentioned that we actually talked to Johnny Dixon and Chindi Chekwa on this show, who are both Ohio State guys who are also from Florida. It seems as though when you're making that decision, obviously Shaun was a stud. He could have gone anywhere. Two things. One is why Ohio State? Because I'm sure you were involved in that decision as well. And then also, was there a pressure for him to kind of stay closer to home?
Yeah, we wanted him to stay closer to home, but I mean, the biggest thing is to get out of the area where you're from. A lot of people don't really talk about that enough. That's super big.
Right.
And getting out of the area means you can't be too close to home where people can come visit you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that's real. So that is real.
That's real because that's just not that state. You want to go a little bit over 5 hours. Where people just can come visit you or whatever.
Right.
Because we know kids that had problems with that.
Yep.
So the biggest reason we chose Ohio State is because it's two parts. They was recruiting us the hardest at the time that we chose to commit.
Mm-hmm.
So our commitment is a commitment, but it's just a commitment to get us to know each other better. So we committed early, like 10th grade, so we can get to know Ohio State better than anybody else.
Mm.
All right, because they was coming the hardest. Then after that, it was mainly just Coach Coombs and his resume.
Mm-hmm.
Urban Meyer was awesome, but it was Coach Coombs, man. Him and his resume. That's why I was so mad when he left.
Right.
It was him and his resume of getting guys to the NFL. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
And did Coach Coombs' return kind of also play into the decision, or the thought that he was going to return? Were you guys aware that was out there, and did that impact you at all?
Yeah, we knew about it, but I don't know.
Okay.
Because I know. Shaun had 3 different DB coaches. 2 were very talk highly about. The other one, a lot of people don't talk about good or bad or whatever. But I don't know. That's a good question. We already knew, so it kind of we never even thought about it.
Right. I think technically, obviously, you know that he has the talent already, right? To be who the coach is. Obviously, it does matter, right? But at this point in his career, I think you guys are confident kind of in his talent. But talk a little bit about Coach Coombs a little bit more, because I think from social media standpoint, a lot of people know about him. They know about his energy and the juice and all that stuff that he brings. But what is it, in your opinion, from a football standpoint, that you think is valuable and makes him such a good coach?
Which is the first thing is this is upbeat, high energy.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get another guy that I know of that's more upbeat and higher energy himself. Then he is a real guy. Like, he's a real dude. Like, it's some stories I wish I can tell you, man. But like, he really cares about these kids. Man. Yeah. He really cares. Yeah. Him and Shaun, and the rest of the guys, they talk about a lot of things, Coach Coombs, that they don't talk about with the other coaches, man.
Right.
He's real personable, man, and it's not a front.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a front, man. He's about business, but it's not a front, and that doesn't come around too often. So it's pretty good.
Wanted to also ask you about, following up on his decision to come to Ohio State, the challenge that presents. I'm sure in high school, you and your wife went to all of his games and were present all the time. The difficulty that it creates as a parent to now have to commute from Jacksonville to see your son play, and any pressure that creates.
Oh, it creates a lot of pressure, especially up front, because kids go through changes. They meet new people, they experience new things. So it's hard to be there to have their back. But it's all a part of growing up, and that's what we really wanted him to do, was to grow up and kind of just get out on his own and understand what life was about. Because, like, at certain different times in high school and certain different times in college, Shaun had to make that choice whether he was going to be the person y'all see now or somebody else, and we had that come to Jesus moment with Urban Meyer on the phone, all that kind of stuff, man. Yeah. And that's why I have a podcast, it's called Daddy's Ball Podcast. I want to plug it real quick.
Yep.
But that's the kind of things we talk about. Every kid is going to have that, and all kids go through some of those same things. As a parent, you just need to kind of lean on other parents, lean on coaches, and just kind of talk about it and get through it.
Yeah, and I actually want to touch on that a little bit too. Piggyback a little bit off of V's question about kind of the pressure that it creates. I think one of the things that's very interesting, or not interesting, but one of the biggest issues in kind of college sports, particularly in football and basketball, is money, right? And I think it's a kind of the unspoken thing that some people don't talk about, like it's like taboo to talk about, but we talk about it on this show. And I want to get your opinion on kind of the NCAA. I'm not trying to get you guys in trouble, but just your thoughts on the image and likeness thing, and also whether or not you feel like athletes should be getting compensated, considering how big of a market this thing has become.
Yeah, I think they should. I was one who believed before this all even came out that athletes should get a certain percentage of what the college makes. So if your college makes billions of dollars a year, athletes should get like 0.03 of that money, and that money would cover your tuition and all that kind of stuff. Also, you would get it put away in something like a 401k that you can only receive after you graduate. If you don't graduate, you don't receive it. I say that first. That's what I believe. But the image and likeness is going to be good, but it's not going to affect that many people because a lot of people are not going to be able to make money off of the image and likeness. But you know, some are. Some are. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's done, and hopefully kids can go back into their local areas that's doing big things and just, you know, make a couple of dollars that help out. You know, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think that's, you know, from an image and likeness name, image and likeness standpoint, first of all, I think it's unfair for them to be able to use your name, image, and likeness and make money off of it, and you don't get to profit off it at all. And you are right. The industry is going to be very top heavy, right? The people at the top with big names, you know, are going to be the ones who are going to benefit the most, which actually could potentially create some wild incentives too for, like, you know, people hiring social media marketing teams or whatever, or figuring out a way to get a ton of followers. But I do think that the opportunity, like you said, even if it's the 100th guy on the team, you know, and he has an opportunity to go back to his hometown because he plays for Ohio State, but he's from like some small town in Maine or something like that. There should be an opportunity for him to benefit off of that. So I'm definitely interested to see how that plays out too.
Yeah, and there should be, you know, team related, like with the video games coming back, there are going to be things that are distributed to everyone that everyone can benefit from. And then there are also guys who are really good college players who create a legacy for themselves, might even win a big trophy, but aren't good enough to make it in the NFL. To have the opportunity to make money while they have that hype is also something that could benefit those guys as well.
Yeah. And one other question, last question I'll ask you before we get you out of here. First of all, thanks for joining us. This has been really good. Is kind of your responsibility as a father, right? You're fairly outspoken on social media about a wide range of issues, which I think is fantastic. And like you said, you also have your podcast, the Daddy's Ball podcast, which is also very informative. Do you feel any type of pressure, given the fact that you know that on some level, you know, obviously you're your own man, but you're also representing Shaun, and by an extension a little bit, you're also representing the university. These are questions that V and I actually deal with sometimes too. Do you feel any pressure or kind of responsibility there?
Yeah, I definitely do. I use that pressure also. So like, so give you a quick example. If it's something I don't like or whatever, not everything, small things some things that I don't like, I will say things because the university does see it because they tell Shaun about it. Right. But I do realize that I have to slow down on some of the things I say because, like you said, I definitely represent Shaun, but I'm going to be me. I'm not a LeVar Ballish type dude. My thought process are totally different because I just see a lot of issues and problems with kids, and I just like to use a platform that, you know, of me, myself, and I, but also with Shaun. And I do understand that my platform wouldn't be as big if Shaun wasn't the person he is today. So I will hopefully one day that Shaun be outspoken and see some of the views and stuff we talk about at home, right, to try to help other people. Because that's all we try to do is try to help other people and parents, man. Because it's just so crazy how many kids and parents go through the same issues, and because we don't talk, we just continuously happen.
Well, you know, that's a great point too. I'm not sorry to cut you off, but you know, V and I have been advisors to many athletes and particularly college athletes and guys coming out of Ohio State. And some of the things that we've seen, I mean, from agents and some of the just
even within families,
it's
right?
Crazy. It's crazy. So I can only imagine actually being a parent of someone who's going through it. I can't even imagine what it is that you guys are dealing with as well. So that's great what you're doing.
I mean, as someone who's been around for Shaun's career, I think this question is pertinent for you. Where do you see Shaun's ceiling personally yourself as a football player and as a cornerback?
What do I see his feeling?
His ceiling.
Oh, ceiling. Oh, it's up there, man. It's up there, but I'm an old school dad, man. You got to show me.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. When everybody says Shaun is good, when he comes to the house or we come to his game, because we are a championship family. Like all my kids have national championships in some sport. Wow. So like when he comes to the crib and he thinks he's doing good, we dogging him. Yeah. Like we dog each other. It's important. We're real competitive. You know what I'm saying? And then in our household, when you do good, we might smile.
Right.
But if you do anything bad, we dogging. We going off on each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's our kind of house. I think it could be great, but you got to show us.
Yeah.
It's your time.
Yeah.
It's your time. You know. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's awesome. First of all, congratulations, right? I'm a new parent. I have a son that's 2. You know, I watch all of you guys that, you know, are doing this. And first of all, to have multiple kids, I can't even imagine what that's like, let alone, like you said, multiple championship type, you know, athletes and kids, and what the schedules are like for that. It's grueling. I've seen it. You know, my siblings are going through it. It's amazing. So the fact that you've been able to do that, keep it together, you know, and still keep a clear head is amazing.
That 20 years in the Navy probably comes in handy, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It definitely does.
For sure.
Definitely does.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Pilot Boys podcast. This is great. Obviously, you know, we just got acquainted, but I'm sure we'll continue having discussions. We seem fairly like-minded. Everybody definitely check out Daddy's Ball podcast, which is Randy Wade's podcast. Very, very informative. And we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, appreciate you guys.
All right, thanks,
All right, man.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. All right.
Love the Pilot Boys podcast? Support us on Patreon. Supporters can pledge as little as $1, and we have some cool perks on there. Check out www.patreon.com/Pilot Boys podcast. Show us some love today. That's all we have for today's show. Big thanks to our guest, Randy Wade. Thanks to everybody for listening. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Subscribe to the Pilot Boys podcast on Apple, Spotify, Patreon, and YouTube. And please follow us on social media at Pilot Boys Pod on Twitter and at Pilot Boys Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And follow the hosts on Twitter. I am at Mecadon Music, and V is at Viswant. We love you guys, but social distance, social distance, social distance. And always remember, be you, you is fly. Pilot Boys out.
Where the Pilot Boys at? Pilot Boys, we get on up. We don't fly, boys, we getting up. So high, so high. Pilot Boys, we get on up.